And we're back here once again with another episode of the MSK show. And this is going to be episode 322. So I hope you guys had a great day. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your week that is ahead of you. And in this episode of the MSK show, I am going to be having a conversation once again with Miss Horror Amorata, and this will be her second appearance on the show. The last time she made an appearance on this show, I'll let her guess the episode number.
Isn't this the third appearance?
Technically not, because you ended up meeting my wife, actually.
Okay. I'm not sure how that changes numbers, but okay.
Black people math. No.
Okay, that works.
All jokes aside, your last episode appearance on this show was a year ago on episode 21.
Holy shit.
So you literally left me like my dad, actually.
I did, but I came back.
That's true. Yeah, that is true. So you were a lot on the other podcast. It was the Iron Man podcast that I did on like Rumble, Twitch, and X. And then when I made this show, your first appearance was a year ago.
You mean this show specifically? All right.
Yeah.
That makes more sense. God. Okay.
Good Lord. Episode 21, and now you're on 322. So the next time you do the third appearance, we got to do that like an episode like 600 or something.
Yeah. It's got to be. So it's October 19th. So I'll see you again October something.
Yeah. Good. So if people don't actually know this, I've actually met Horror Amorata and her husband IRL last year and this year, and her husband definitely is black. Okay. He is blacker than me. He's definitely black from the waist down as well. She would admit that too.
I can agree with
that. Since you have met me IRL, can you confirm that I'm tall, white, rich, and successful?
Absolutely. He drives a really nice car. I saw it myself.
Yes. Good Lord, that Lamborghini don't pay for itself.
No.
The OnlyFans subscriptions. Just be pouring in when I do my butthole content for $6.99. Actually,
Everybody likes that white ass.
Good Lord, see. At least you understand now that I'm actually a white guy trapped in a black guy's body. Remember that was the original like trans thing. I'm a man trapped in a woman's body or something like that. Like no, I'm a woman trapped in a man's body. So I turned it around. So essentially, I'm transracial and I am a white guy trapped in a black guy's body, and I'm just essentially wearing blackface.
Yep, sounds right. I never said he could drive. I just said he had a card.
Oh God. So how has it been since I last saw you? So it's essentially like the day after you got married, right after I left.
That was the last time I saw you. It's been good. Everything's going quite well. The married life is agreeing with me. I'm not pregnant yet, so he hasn't left yet. So
oh yeah. See, that's the thing, is white, married to a black guy, get pregnant, he might leave. See that?
Yeah.
See, you're in it for the long haul. You're playing for the grand scheme of things, actually.
I make sure he doesn't go out for milk and cigarettes at the same time.
Okay. If he goes out for Marlboro cigarettes and Skittles, would that be better?
I think I should be okay then. Yeah, because he prefers to eat his candy at his computer.
I do too. Fucking hell. But we have to go over some of the things that you were going over on Twitter, because I feel like you're at the point that I'm at, where people do that thing that they say they're not doing, but then they do the thing, and then they are surprised when people, tell them that they're doing the thing, but then they're like, but I'm not doing that. I'm not saying that. It's like,
I don't do that thing.
That's how it is. I think at this point, do you remember that famous tweet where it's the whole pancake and waffle one? I think at this point, that's the best tweet of all time, because everyone does the pancake waffle thing. Everyone does that at this point, I remember there was a tweet that you responded to with this lady who said something kind of stupid, and then
you're gonna have to narrow that way down.
Good Lord, I think it had to be been a recent one where they were boiling things down to like it was the female protagonist one. Remember that one where like they were trying to say like if it's a problem if a guy doesn't want to play as a female protagonist.
Oh, that
in like
bullshit.
a video game.
Yeah.
And like I've always said this, if someone just doesn't want to do that, why is that an issue? And then people go, but that's kind of mean. Why?
But it's racist, but it's sexist. Why? It has nothing to do with. Well, for one, you're talking about why doesn't somebody want to play this make believe character? Doesn't matter what that make believe character is. If you don't, for whatever reason, look at that pretend character and say, I would like to play this character, and or I don't like the way this character looks, or I don't like the fact that the character's nose is 2 degrees too high or whatever. It doesn't matter what reason you're using to not want to play the character. You just don't want to play the character. It's not any deeper than that.
Right. And I think at this point, given how things have progressed within like gaming or whatever kind of, fandom people are a part of, it's this active, like, I'm not saying campaign, but it feels like there's an active new mindset to make people feel bad about shit that's supposed to be good and supposed to be escape. Like if we were playing some sort of like fantasy game, let's like say D&D or whatever, I would not want to be myself working at like Starbucks. You know what I mean? Like it's supposed to be a fantasy thing where I'm supposed to essentially kind of pretend to be something that I would never be. Obviously, like I could be a Super Saiyan in D&D. I could be a fucking green big titty dragon that spits water. I don't know,
Yep.
but I just don't get why people are trying to basically police make believe escapism where it's like, and what would be the problem with not wanting to be, playing a girl? Like what if some guys just don't like that, and why is that bad? Like who wants to do that? I think too many of these individuals that you always end up going at on Twitter, they're just like, oh god, it's like they're so close to seeing it, but their brain is just on just accept everything. And now what if I don't want to accept everything? What if I just don't like what you're saying? How about that?
Here's the problem with those people is they think that because you are rejecting whatever that character is, because they like that character and you are rejecting that character, they then feel that you are rejecting them, even though it has absolutely fucking nothing to do with them, because they are so emotionally invested in the things that they identify with, because that is the important thing to them. They care the most about if they identify with something. So if this character is a woman and I am also a woman, by rejecting that pretend woman who is actually a picture and not an actual human being, you are then rejecting me, who is the actual human being, or in my case, a squid. And that is a problem for them, obviously.
I think the other one that you got a pretty nice viral response to someone, it was the one after that. What was the one after that you had? It was not the gaming one. It was the one after that where I think it had to deal with fucking hell.
You're asking me to remember my own tweets. That's sad.
Good lord. It was another one you wrote like 3 paragraphs on, and I think that person just was like, but actually no, people shouldn't be like that. It's like, what is up with these people and just straight up like policing the way everyone kind of thinks? It's like they're trying to be the thought police. Like you can't think these bad things. I'm like, if that's your line in the sand, you're gonna be disappointed with a lot of people, honestly.
Yeah, it's they just have no ability to separate themselves from anything. Reality, fiction, the pretend identity of other things on a TV screen. They have no sense of actual self. So it's hard when you are a person who understands, I am a whole person. I am not everything around me. Not everything around me is not me. And thus, I don't have to worry how people feel about this thing I like, because I like the thing. I don't like everybody around the thing. It's
right. Yeah.
So confusing.
Yeah. And that's the problem when it comes to like discourse with, like not like social media. It's just kind of something where when someone's saying something and they're saying it to a lot of people and then they go, well, I wasn't really saying that. You interpreted it wrong. Then why didn't you spell out the context of what you were trying to say? It's not that hard. Like, just be like, you can even like when you tweet something, you can just do another tweet under it and be like, hey, this is context. This is why I'm saying this certain thing. But a lot of them have these insanely weird, cringy takes of like, why does X person not like French fries? someone could say, I don't like them, I've ate them, and I just don't like them. If you don't
Mhm.
like French fries, I think you're a weirdo. But someone could just not like French fries. But like,
Yeah.
you're a French fry cis, and French fries lives matter. And why must you oppress French fries? What's wrong with you? I'm just not liking a food item. What's wrong with you? The fuck?
But for some reason, I don't know what it is about French fries. People just don't.
No, we're not doing this. Are you gonna start French LM? French fries lives matter.
Yes, French fries lives matter. Everybody must engage in the French fry. Uh, your French fries must be salted, and if you don't eat your salted French fries, obviously
Oh
you
my
are
god.
all the bad things.
Good gosh. Or because I know recently, did you see the thing that happened with? Because we're gonna talk about it tomorrow on the main show. But
Hmm.
did you see what happened to Emeru?
Yes.
Oh,
Oh
TwitchCon
God,
thing.
that was
Oh
awful.
god, man, man. Like I will say this for women. I typically don't believe them in a lot of situations, but I do. I will say this: women probably should fear. I'm not saying all men. I'm gonna say a little percentage of them. So like, out of 100, I would say that 20%, that's the like those sims, those really crazy sims where they give them all their money and they think that just entitles them to just, I don't know, just straight up SA people or
Mm,
whatever, like those people. I would say if you're a woman, you should probably be afraid of those guys. It like because like back in the day, if someone was that crazy, you would go like, they aren't gonna do it in IRL though. That was the line. It was like, you're not gonna do this IRL because that would be crazy for someone to even do that kind of thing. But now we're at the point where that kind of like, they're not going to do it because it's IRL. I don't think that's a thing anymore. I think people will sometimes, more or
no,
less not, will push that line now at this
there are
point.
more crazy people out there, and it's much easier to reach the crazy people at the same time. The fact of the matter is, as a woman, you should be aware of the men you are around at all times. Most won't do anything. It's a truth. But the fact is, the ones who choose to can overpower you at any point in time. And that's just nature. It's normal. So you have to be aware of the men you are around. Now, in this case, she was in a situation where supposedly she was supposed to be protected by the actual organizers of the
Yeah.
convention. So it kind of makes sense that maybe she wasn't as aware as she would normally be. And to top it off, she wasn't allowed to have really dog. Well,
Good old fur babies.
yeah, she's climbing up in my face and trying to lick my neck. It's weird.
And my wife did that too to me. Huh.
But she just didn't have the situation. I mean, there really wasn't a lot that she could have done. What was she going to do? Run away from the guy? And she didn't know what he was going to do when he
Yeah.
got up to her. But there should have been way more security around her. Every convention, actual convention I've been to this date has some kind of everybody has some kind of badge. Everybody has some kind of something, and that place just doesn't seem to take it very seriously at all. And so this
I
happened.
I don't think Twitch truly understands the level of weirdos that people like her and her communities of friends galvanize, like just get all these people. I don't.
Yeah.
I truly don't think Twitch understands the level of simps that these women actually have.
I take it back. I mean, I have to disagree. I think Twitch does understand. I don't think they care.
It
I
could be
think
that
that's the
too.
biggest thing because those
Yeah.
simps give the most their money.
Yeah, that's probably where all the revenue comes from. Honestly, like all those gifted subs and
Mm-hmm.
trains. Not saying the girls got trains ran on them, like those sub
Some
trains
of them do.
that end up happening.
Uh,
Oh God, I no Cinnabrit, that dumb whore. Like she for sure gets trained. I can already tell. Oh God, she sound like a dude. She's fucking hell. And keep in mind, like I've never watched Emeru anything, honestly.
mhm.
Like these people, I've already checked out of watching these people ages ago. But what
Yeah.
happened to her is just so, it looks so bad on Twitch because she even said she had her own personal security guard. He got essentially barred from the event, like he
He
got
was
banned or whatever.
banned from
He was
any
banned.
event ever again because
He did
he
his job.
defended her once. Yeah.
Yeah. Like this is the problem that these companies like Twitch have, is that like they're anti protecting their creators. It's like now with the law, how like, well, someone will defend themselves
Mhm.
and then they're the ones that get the punishment that the criminal would have gotten. That's the same thing that happens now. Like for some reason, Twitch is not trying to protect the people that make them the most money. It's just so weird. I don't know how anyone still supports that company. But then again, it's not really supporting Twitch itself. It's more like just supporting the creator and everything. Like I I think people should have known something when a lot of those famous e-girls on Twitch just bowed out of going because they didn't feel safe,
Mhm.
and day one
Something
pretty much just
happens.
kind of
Well,
proves, yeah.
and the fact of the matter is that the fact this has happened to Emiru before shows you that Twitch should be very well aware of the fact that this can happen. But another thing to keep in mind is the fact they are in California. California has very specific rules about this kind of thing. You
Mhm.
are often not allowed to detain criminals.
Yeah, you're right. California is the worst with that. It's like they literally want to side with criminals.
Mhm.
Actually disgusting. And I don't know what's gonna happen. I saw. Did you see that video with that one lady who doxed libs of TikTok? I
Oh,
think she had that interview with Twitch's CEO, and he was like, "We're gonna look into the situation very seriously based off the allegations." Allegations? What are you talking about? It's on video. There's no allegations in this.
I know people get upset about that, but technically, if you want to avoid a lawsuit, even if it is on video, it's your best bet to put allegations in there. Because, say, for some insane reason, some absolutely monstrously retarded reason, this goes to court. He gets charges. He gets to the actual trial, and for some stupid reason, some absolutely asinine reason, he comes out not guilty. If he comes out not guilty, there is a good chance if he had the money, he could go back and sue everybody who didn't say alleged.
That yeah, there's been technicalities like that with like I guess lawsuits
Mm-hmm.
where if a specific thing didn't happen, then they could just basically countersue and get everyone. Yeah, that fucking sucks too. Even though it's on video that he can't defend. Like, and
Yeah,
what would and I still don't even understand from his point of view what would make you do that. I don't get what happens in these
mental
women's
illness.
brains. Yeah, that's gonna be the main one. It's just for me, I don't know what gets people to do that. Specifically men, not women, because there's obviously a women sense, but that's a different kind of thing.
I mean,
It's
women
like,
will do the same thing. We just do it a little differently.
but it's like these guys donate a lot of money to, and people think these guys are broke. No, some of these guys where I've interacted with certain of these females community people, they're not like these broke guys that sit in a basement all day. Some of these guys
Mm-hmm.
literally have regular, nice paying jobs and live on their own. It's just so odd that people think it's just like a broke guy living with his mom. No, most of these people have decent jobs and they just give all their money to just a random e-whore on Twitch, but they don't interact with women IRL, probably
Mm-hmm.
because they're maybe antisocial or they can't talk to women properly. So they think that it's much more easier if you just give a girl money and she'll have to interact with you. It's so odd. Like that's the reason why I don't think any of these guys can get women. And they'll also need to understand girls won't like you. They don't like guys like that. I've seen a lot of these girls on video saying like, "Man, these are all just pay pigs." They
Mm-hmm.
call them simps. They don't respect these guys. You're literally just a wallet to them. That's it.
Yep.
Even if you did meet them IRL, you take a picture, like a few pictures for your like social media, whatever. They don't give a fuck if like after you leave and talk to them, they don't care if you existed. Like literally, I always told these people, if you drop dead right now, not you or me, but like if like if Pokemon's top simp right now, if he straight up dropped dead right now, would she care?
Probably not. Well, I mean, she'd notice the decrease in her bank account, but
Yeah,
probably not really. She might say some
yeah.
nice words, but it's not going to be.
The nice words. Oh yeah, thank you for supporting me. Oh Lord, kill me.
He was so kind and he supported me so much, and
Hmm.
uh, it's unfortunate he's gone, and that'll be it. She won't even probably think about him 10 minutes after that.
And I don't know at this point when it comes to Twitch. It's just a company that has been taking so many L's. I remember like that it was a porn star. Her name was like Brat Nasty. Man, her porn was fucking amazing, honestly. But remember last year she like she jumped into that like pit that she saw was a styrofoam block, and
Yeah,
it was like actual. She actually, oh god, she just
it
broke
was
her
barely
back.
6 inches of styrofoam or something like that. Yeah.
God, man, just. And then they had the shit with Amaranth because
Hmm.
she's a lunatic. Actually, like she can't be alone. Like she never even brought her husband to these things because she has to present herself like she's single.
Hmm.
A lot of guys don't understand this. The girls have to present themselves like they're single to you because they come off more desirable. That's why they never really talk about having a boyfriend or a husband, because they think if they say that, money decreases, obviously. So, like, that's why you've been seeing Amaranth with her husband more, because, well, you know, she had something happen to her. Remember,
Yeah.
someone broke into her house and they pistol whipped her to get all of her
Yep.
crypto money. Like, you don't even, and she has security
Yeah. She
everywhere.
has the security system and everything. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is there's this thing uh, in Japan. It's the girlfriend, well, not Japan, in the East in general, called the girlfriend experience. A lot of
I've heard of that.
VTubers
Mm-hmm.
are
Yeah.
into it, do that kind of thing where they basically act like a girlfriend for their audience. They will literally tell the men in their audience, hey, I am your girlfriend. We are dating. Despite the fact they're talking to, I don't know, a couple thousand men at once, somehow they all still buy it. I've never understood that part myself.
Mm-hmm.
But and then those girls will go out and do something like, I don't know, date their manager and hide the fact that they are dating their manager.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm. I
and
know.
then their
I know.
audience finds out, and that turns into a giant drama for a few days. It is so ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
And these people, I mean, most of them are literally drawings on the internet. They're not actually even human faces. So I imagine a lot of e-girls strive for the same thing, but because American culture hasn't quite labeled it the same way, a lot
Mm-hmm.
of people don't think about it that way.
Yeah, I think the other thing to that, there was another one recently that happened where like this simp donated a lot of money to a specific girl in Korea and then stalked her and then just ended up killing her.
Yep. She actually blocked him because he was being too aggressive and creepy. And he found her shortly after one of her live streams and killed her. Yep. He gave her like $70,000. But that one, he was actually not a rich guy. He was a guy who had leveraged a bunch of credit cards, was losing his house, I think they said. He was just monstrously in debt. And basically, he was just a sick puppy and
I guess he
decided
felt
to
like
take her out.
I guess he felt like there was some level of entitlement that he had
Mm-hmm.
to her because he just gave her a lot of his money. It's so weird. Either the Sims that give all these girls their money are like guys with good paying jobs and they just can't socialize or interact with women, or you get the guys that barely have any money and they're giving like their last dollar to some like e-thought. Like, why would you do that? Like, that is so irresponsible. But they think the girls are in love with them because they read their super chats or donations on
Mm-hmm.
stream. What in the fucking hell? What, man? God, guys, we got to do better. We got to do better. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. These guys are making us look bad, lady.
Trust me, I'm used to people who share my gender, making me look bad.
Oh, that was
You
another
can't
one
get away
too.
from it.
You had this back and forth with someone on Twitter based off like I think pretty sure it was gender. I forget which one it was. I think you were talking about like Dragon Age the Veilguard,
God, I
like,
hate that game.
and the whole scars that happened on that one character, and this person
Oh,
was
I
like,
had a brief conversation with Nuri about
yeah, yeah,
um she was talking about how she didn't care about the top scars, and the only reason I even care about them, I don't actually care about them. I don't care what you put in a character creator as long as it's optional
mhm,
and I don't have to actually use it. I could give a shit less, especially when you're talking about a game that is not specifically for children. And just
right,
because kids might end up playing a game doesn't mean it's for kids. Now, so I don't actually care about the top stars. I understand why other people do. I just don't. I also don't care about fucking hair physics because they're stupid. If you're
yeah,
going to spend that much time on hair in a game, then your storyline had better be so fucking on point that I fall in love in your game within minutes. That is how good it has to be. You can't have anything else. If you spend all that time and money putting in unnecessary features in your customization and unnecessary features in your in the hair of all things on your characters, I don't want to hear shit else if your story sucks. Nothing else. I'm done with you if that is the way it is, because I don't care how it looks. I am not looking to see if the hair is flowing right. I am not looking to see what body parts I can chop off my character. I am looking to play a fun game. And if the game isn't fun, fuck off. It's really that easy.
Yeah, I think another thing that really people you need to understand is people are going to have different opinions on what they find valuable in a video game. But
Mm-hmm.
it feels like if someone or a lot of people just don't like a specific thing about a video game, then other people who also don't like something think that I would say if you don't like something in a video game and I don't like something, but people make it seem like your thing that you don't like is much worse than my thing, but it's like we all have a different way of not liking something.
Mm-hmm.
Like just and it also depends on what is it. I think some people may like overrate or over hate something that's really, really small and very, very insignificant. But
Yeah.
hey, that might be someone's just straw. That like people understand there's a lot of different ways people just kind of what's that new term, crash out? It's like
Yeah.
people have certain ticks like that. Growing up, you realize the triggers people have, various little things could set someone off. I'm not saying it's right, it's not or it's good, but or
Mm-hmm.
people or they overact. But man, I remember someone said The Dark Knight was a bad movie because Joker made the Heath Ledger's Joker made like a weird sound he didn't like. That was it. There was no legit reason why he didn't like the movie. It was like, hey, I just didn't like it because I don't like the way he smacked his lips. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
what? I was like, what?
Some sounds are just irritating for people, but
Yeah.
when it comes to luxury purchases, entertainment of any kind is a
Yes.
luxury purchase. Then people will use anything they want, especially in an economy that's a little tighter. They will use anything to say, this is why I'm not going to give my money to this, or this
Mm,
is why I'm not going to invest in this, because they have to.
mhm.
We're not all, excuse me, we're not all just made of money. And
Yeah.
just because someone else's reason isn't the same as your reason doesn't make it bad. It just makes it their reason. And
Yeah.
again, you're right back around to that where people feel like everything they think and do and say is a deep part of who they are. Thus, anytime you reject something they like, they interpret it as you rejecting them. And so they take it personally.
Oh, there was I think the most critical thing that happened where he revealed he was disabling monetization.
Yeah.
Because he made obviously a buttloads of cash on his YouTube channel.
Oh, so much money.
So my thing is he could have just turned off monetization without even announcing it.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know what is the point of announcing it. I mean, maybe he does have a reason. I just find it odd because most people would probably see his channel is doing very well. He probably would make a lot of money doing it. I think that from what I understand is the biggest crux to why people had an issue with what was going
Yeah.
on. But what was
I
your
mean, it's a
take
two for
on?
thing. For one,
Yeah,
if he turns them all off, he's going to get questions. And eventually he's going to have to say something.
yeah,
So this way he said it ahead of time. The other part of it is, yeah, you know what? He's a human being. This is social media. He wants the head pats because people like to get head pats. They like people to say, oh, you're being a good person. Thank you
love
so
that
much for
validation.
doing this.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's social media of all things. Everybody does it at some point or another. Even I do it. Every single person does it. It happens. And it's, just kind of part of what social media is. But to top it off, when you look at, I mean, I think there's possibly a third component where he's actually showing smaller creators and non-creators more of the background of it, the back end of it, where he showed his income breakdown and the fact that the large majority of his money has come from ad revenue and not donations, not subs, nothing. It's all come like 90% of it, probably more like 75% from ad revenue. And that's going to scare other creators to some degree too, because they see people seeing that, hey, this large creator I donate to is making all this ad revenue. Why am I giving them my money? And that for a large creator could be frightening because they still rely on that despite it being a smaller portion of the income. Everybody likes to see numbers go up, no matter what those numbers are. Numbers go up, I feel good, so on and so forth. They can spend more money buying another house or a shed or more dogs or whatever in the world they spend it on, and or drugs or alcohol or whatever, and they like it, and it's okay for people to do that. And because at any point, and the people who donate to them can choose not to donate to them. It's not like any of us are beholden to give anybody else money. But on the other hand, I can understand why it might scare smaller creators, because they might, the non-creators might get the idea that, well, this other creator who is much smaller and doesn't get the views must be making that type of money too off the ads. And we're not. When you are smaller, the majority of your money comes from donation. And it's quite a while until it flips the other way around. So there's that part too, where seeing that little bit of secret sauce leak out there scares some people.
Well, my secret sauce is Buffalo Ranch.
Ew.
Yeah, I know. That's just. I don't know why people overrate ranch. Ranch is fucking disgusting.
Ranch is gross.
Yeah, ranch taste is just like a word ranch. I can't say. Oh God, it's so foul too. Like if you actually smell it, it smells so foul. Who genuinely is like, I'm craving some ranch here? Like those Cool Ranch Doritos are overrated. Nothing beats.
You know what? I like Cool Ranch Doritos, but I like them because they taste nothing like ranch.
I get a point there. Yeah. Nothing beats nacho cheese Doritos. Nothing's gonna beat those for me.
I've always preferred Cool Ranch.
Oh God, you're a Cool Ranch enjoyer. Hell yeah.
But that's the only place I like ranch. Everywhere else, no thank you.
Yeah, if someone accidentally like put ranch on one of my burgers, I would throw that shit out the window.
Yeah, putting ranch on a burger is just disgusting. The same thing with pizza. You don't put it on pizza. You can dip vegetables into it if you want to, but that's about the only use I have for it. I don't even want it on my salad.
Oh, God. What was it? You were getting into another Twitter battle with someone who was talking about someone with the Bible?
Oh, so James Lindsay. Yeah, he made a post about the fact that he is a PhD, or that, he played games in his 20s and then he stopped and then he got his PhD, and then he pulled out a quote, and it's when I was a child, I spoke as a child, thought as a child,
I remember that. Yeah,
something else, and then the end is but when I became a man, I put away childish things. And a lot of people, I don't know if they confused it with the C.S. Lewis quote, because C.S. Lewis has kind of the same quote and he says the same thing, but then he also adds, and the fear of others judging me to be childish, or something similar at the end, basically saying, there's room for childishness in being a man. Well, the difference there is that it is actually a quote from the Bible, and it's Corinthians 13:11. And there's a whole bunch more to it. There's a whole lot of other things you can go into it, because there's when it comes to the Bible, there's a lot of things you can discuss, and I'm not looking to step on anybody's toes. But because it's an overly translated book, some of them have different word uses than others. In the version I chose, which was the King James Version, as opposed to the New King James Version, which puts into the entire section of Corinthians that I quoted the word charity, whereas a lot of other versions use the word love. Now you can have discussions about what that means for the quote itself, but for the most part, the section is really talking about how your perceptions change as you grow, and the fact that as humans we have imperfect understanding of everything around us, and once you reach a certain age, you're supposed to come to that understanding that there is more things you don't know in this world than things you do know, and it is important to remember that and to judge things around you with an amount of grace, or an amount of leeway, as opposed to jumping to constant conclusions, and thus leave room for understanding as it comes to you. But there are some people who say, well, that certain piece about the becoming putting away childish things is a standalone from the rest of it, and they actually mean not being childish in your adult years. But there's all sorts of different places that you can really go with that, because it is a complicated thing. But to take that one section, in my opinion, out of context really changes the entire thing, because most people, even because I had one person come in and say, well, Paul, who is because the letter in Corinthians is a letter from Paul, and to take that one sentence out of everything else, even as a rambly person, most people don't just stick a random quote about growing up in the middle of everything else. There's a reason why it was there. and to separate out and say, no, this is separate from everything else he was talking about, despite the fact there are like 3 passages, then you have that one passage and 2 other passages. It doesn't work, in my opinion.
Well, it's also another thing, like, where people don't understand when it comes to, like, the Bible. It's been translated through multiple different languages,
Yep.
and given how people who I would understand who've watched anime understand this, what I'm going to say here is people can also translate things wrong, because translations, remember when things were translated back then, people just believed them because they didn't really understand how it worked, so they just took whatever translation that they got, they just kind of ran with it. Kind of find out, not the Bible specifically, but a lot of other things were translated not the best, or context was left out, or wording may have changed based off what the person was trying to portray to someone, you know. So when someone's like talking about the Bible, you have to understand maybe someone read a different version than you, and that said something completely different, had a different meaning, you know. So,
and even changing the one word makes a difference. But another thing is the severe lack of complete education going around, because the perfect example is, in this case, the word charity. When someone says charity, most people think of something like giving things to somebody else, or giving to a foundation, or volunteering their time, or something like that. There are 3 definitions for charity. The first one is giving to an organized definition, to an organized not corporation, organization. The second one is to give your time. And the third one is to give other people kindness and leniency and judgment.
mhm.
And most people don't think of that third definition because they haven't really been taught on the fact that these words have multiple definitions. They're not taught to think about the word in the context it's being used. They just think of the one definition and ignore the context. So if I say I want to give charity to someone, people are automatically going to assume I want to give something physical, or give money, or give time to that person, as opposed to just thinking I want to be kind to that person, or I want to be a little more lenient in my judgment to that person.
Mhm.
And so when you don't have the full idea of everything a word can be, and you don't know how to look at it in its context to see exactly which version of that word you're using, people lose the idea of what's going on. So basically, the Bible is suffering a severe case of localization.
Mhm.
And I don't know that that's a good thing, in my opinion. Especially, it's funny because people talk about religion and the ills it's imposed and everything, but the fact is in order to understand their Bible better, people further back had to get more education to some degree, not formal education, but even just the preacher talking about whatever passage he was talking about gave people more of an idea of what words meant, not necessarily just in a religious sense, but in an everyday world sense.
Mhm.
And it's unfortunate that people haven't seemed to hold on to that, haven't seemed to really keep with that idea of learning in other places. It all seems to try to be stuck into school, and if you aren't in school, then you're not learning.
Yeah, that was like, looking back now, since you did go to public school, because I was talking to someone about this at work. Do you think you really took anything from it outside of like basics? Outside of the basics, like English, math, and all their basic stuff, what was really good about going to public school? Like, people say socializing, but I don't know if that's even a benefit anymore, honestly. It's like,
Well, socializing in many ways is discouraged. I mean, there were things I learned in school, obviously,
mhm,
uh, but the and it doesn't help that I'm a little older.
just a little.
So when I went to school, it was even different from when someone a decade younger than me went to school, which, I mean, when my mother went to school, it was so much different than when I went to school. So school can be a good thing, but the way it is being used currently is not. Um, there's so much one size fits all going on in society. Everybody wants to say, this is the path you take to get to success. And there is never a one path. There is never one thing that you can do that works for everybody. Other than maybe drinking water. Everybody needs to drink water. That
I,
is one of the few things.
water lives matter. I'm a water
Yes.
cyst. I am fundamentally against water. I hate the look of it. I just hate blue. I hate clear.
But I mean, water is very important to life. It's probably the only thing that everybody can do to stay alive.
That's true. Yeah.
Everything else, it depends. I mean, not even two people could need entirely different foods to survive or to stay alive. So, it's just so much everything that can happen.
God, there was a tweet that Chief City actually retweeted because the caption went like this: "What did you do to make the timeline hate you?" And he said, "I said women ruin men's safe spaces," and he's right. Yeah,
Oh, he's right. I don't disagree.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where if him saying that, people would call him a misogynist. It's like, but no, like women. Have you? Because this thing is, I've actually noticed this. I think you notice this too, because you've been in a lot of gaming circles throughout your life. I would imagine, right?
Yeah, I've been a gamer my entire life.
Right. So you know how like you have men groups, and then like a girl will enter it, and you see them act differently. Then at some point, maybe one of the guys in the group dates the girl. They'll break up. Then she'll date another person. They break up. Then a bunch of drama happens, and it's like without that girl there, none of that happens. Or she gets into the group. People, I don't know, one guy feels bad maybe that they're always beating on her in the games, not physically, like in the game. And then like, why are you guys doing this? And then he starts white knighting for her. And then it's like, and it gets a little weird. It's like, man, women have to never understand this though, is certain hobbies, like when women ask like, why is there no women in X hobby? Because that was always the thing when it came to like Dragon Ball or a lot of animes. People always say, well, why aren't more women watching these? Because you're not the target audience. Like Barbies. The reason why there's not a lot of boys that play with Barbie dolls is because they're not the target audience. Now, it's not saying a boy can't play with the Barbie doll, but you're not the target audience. They're not trying to get boys to buy Barbie dolls for, parents. That would be, if you're parents, you're going to buy it for your little girl. And like Transformers. Transformers is geared towards kids of the ages of 6 to like 18, 50, right? I think people generally forget what like certain companies are actually doing or their intended goal of targeting a specific demographic, because that demographic will buy it more. Like, remember when the Barbie movie came out like a few years ago and made it was like Warner Brothers' highest grossing movie ever, and it was just women mostly supporting it. Well, yeah, that's geared toward them. They should be the majority that goes and watches it. But then if you have a movie that's like maybe Dune, that's probably gonna be more male skewing. I feel like people have just generally forgotten about like the target demographics that are supposed to be the big audience for these. Like when it comes to gaming, males are probably going to be more interested in gaming than women. It's just probably going to be what it is. Not saying women can't game or be into gaming, but you're going to be the minority most of the time. Yeah, like women don't understand that there could be like the majority, the minority in the male group, and they go like, "Why is there more women playing this?" Gee, I wonder why women aren't interested in sitting around a bunch of men playing video games.
Well, here's the thing with that. So the women who are, I mean, there has never been a time in any of these things where there were 0 women. Never.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And that's just a fact. But the thing is the women who were there love the thing as the thing.
Yeah.
No matter what that thing is, they love the thing as the thing. Now, then you have these other women who see this woman over here hanging with all these guys, and they want those guys because women are bitches. I have no other way, no nicer way to say it. Women are selfish, greedy, catty bitches. And I really wish there was a better way to say it, but there's not. And so they'll see this other woman who they perceive as getting more male attention than them because they think that woman and those men are together because of, sex. Yeah. But that's not what it is.
That happens to me because I'm a Chad. Women are usually around me for sex, top G stuff.
Obviously. But that isn't what it is because, I mean, you can have a woman in these spaces and nobody dates. I
Yeah,
quite literally never
I've
dated
seen it.
any of the guys I played D&D with.
Yeah,
And that is something that a normal, adjusted human being is capable of doing.
yeah,
But these other women see that, and then they come into the space, and because these men or boys or whatever they happen to be are used to dealing with this one girl who just loved the thing for the thing and maybe had to be introduced to it a little or whatever,
mm,
they see her and they're like, oh, cool, she's actually hotter, so maybe we can get her to come in here and she'll have fun, and maybe, who knows, sexual tension's always a thing. But then she uses that to hop from man to man as opposed to enjoying the thing as the thing. And then she wants more women to come in because she wants everything to be easier for her so
yeah.
that she can get more men. And
I noticed that with girls too. When they come into something, they're like, "Why can't it, be easier for me?" It's like, why do we have to lower how good we are for you? You should be
mhm,
catching up to us. That's how it should be. The best people, you should try to work up to being as good as them, and then when you do get as good as them, then they improve from you getting as good as them. It
yep.
shouldn't be just now I just get objectively worse at it because it hurts your feelings. Like, no, fuck you.
Well,
You
I
know?
mean, sadly, that's not even a female specific thing. It's a weak person thing. A weak person will always want to drag other people down as opposed to try to work on themselves.
Yeah, yeah,
It's more likely to happen with women in a male dominated space because we're back to that thing that most women aren't going to be able to do the same types of things men do. It's just we're wired differently, so they want concessions made so that they can feel like they're on the same level as men, even though realistically they're not going to be, and they're just making the experience worse for everybody.
Oh, there was one that you screenshotted what that person said because you didn't want to show their picture to give them more clout on their tweet. It was the one where you're talking about like woke. Because
Yeah.
his reply to you was that's what I'm gonna do. But my advice would be that calling something woke or bad just because a character doesn't look hot isn't
Mm-hmm.
valid criticism, and maybe go outside for once. I find that peak irony
Yeah.
because these people, by the way they look and talk, do not go outside and they don't even take showers. They stink in real life. Talk to people, their fucking breath stinks. Their moms are like single, old, probably got ran through by 10 black guys. Like, good lord.
Yeah. And that's one of those, it's kind of back to that people seeing their people want to have the argument that they have in their head. So that one specifically, I was kind
Yeah,
of like,
yeah.
what the fuck? Because the post that I made, that was a post about how uh, anybody about how people can judge their entertainment based off of anything they want to judge their entertainment on,
Yeah.
and
They're spending their hard-earned money on
that's
it. Yeah,
fine. Yeah, they're
yeah.
spending their money out so they can pick however they want, and somehow this person out of that got this person saying everything's woke, and I'm like, I didn't say a goddamn word about woke. Where is that even coming from?
Eric July pointed this out, and it's something that he said that makes so much sense. And not because your husband kind of works for him, but I will give him Eric a lot of
Formerly
credit for this
worked for
one.
him, but yeah.
You know, Eric July has always pointed this out when he talks to some of the people that don't like him.
Mm-hmm.
People want to kind of predict your position and then
Mm-hmm.
argue from that. They don't know what your actual position is. They're making up your position in their own head,
Yep.
and then they already think you're this, that, and the third, and that's what they're arguing from. They're not actually arguing from reading what you're saying. They just have this image of you in their head that they just want to argue with, which is
Yep.
like, and keep in mind, yeah, if a female is not attractive, I think that's pretty bad. Women, literally, most of white people like women. Not saying everybody, but most people like women because they're attractive. That's like women's biggest thing. Like you read it in books, in anime, in movies, TV, everything. What is the biggest indicator of a woman's character? Even before you know what she's like, her personality, everything, it's the way she looks. Women's attractiveness is what most people go for, whether it's an indicator of a good woman, bad woman, crazy woman, anything. Like the hottest women tend to be crazy. That's a thing people say. Or they say the women that are not as attractive tend to have the better personalities. Remember back in the day, they said big women had better personalities.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing people used to say. Bigger women had better personalities. So my thing is, if someone doesn't think the character's hot, is that valid criticism? I don't know. If she's the main character, if she's not hot, I think that's pretty bad, honestly.
I think it
I
depends
guess.
on the story and what's
Also,
going
if
on
she's
in the story and
yeah,
everything.
yeah,
I mean, if she's ugly and a girl boss, nobody's gonna like her because
yeah.
then at that point you're just you've got two negatives and you can't really get a positive reaction despite the fact two
Yeah.
negatives making a positive. You can't get a positive reaction out that. What you're going to get out of that is a bunch of angry people. But I do believe that a talented designer could make a game with an ugly woman and it would be popular. The problem is that person would have to not only nail the story, they would have to nail the gameplay, and they would have to nail the marketing
Right. So
around it. Without those three things, it's not going to work because too many people are visual.
Yeah, and too many people at that point, if they did the thing you were saying, they would just forget how this character looks because the gameplay and everything else would kind of overwrite that. I would just say that if someone doesn't think a game is good because the character is not hot, I would just perceive that as just a very shallow reasoning. It isn't. Keep in mind, like, people understand people's reasonings don't have to make a whole lot of sense for them to just be very shallow. They're just, and keep in mind, it's not a good or bad thing to be shallow. It's just, hey, that reason for not liking it is. And keep in mind, I think people overblow situations too. Are they saying they don't like the character, or are they saying they don't like the game? Because that's two different things, right? Like, people like the way they, you talked earlier about context and perceiving things.
Yeah.
If I say I think this character is ugly as fuck, that is not me saying that I think the story's bad, unless I state after that I think the story's bad and this character's not attractive. I think people conflate the two when they say, well, I don't think this character is attractive. But so that means you're saying the game's bad? No, I'm just saying the character doesn't look attractive. You see, like, people, the reaching people go. It's the level of reaching that is. It's like they automatically want to make your argument for you without you even saying it. There's people that think that I don't like certain movies because I'm saying an actor is bad. Like, no, that's two different things. The actor was bad, and I think the movie's not good. They're two different things. You can get a good movie with bad actors, and vice versa. You can have a story in a movie that's fucking fantastic, but the actors completely suck at portraying it. Or you have a movie where the actors knock it out of the park 10 out of 10, and the writing is abysmal shit. But it's the way people I don't understand and hear conversations. They're just trying to. It's a thing where, remember, people just hear what they want to hear, and it goes in one ear out the other, and they kind of just want to get to their next point. They're not actually listening. There's the difference between hearing and listening to what someone is saying. It's even easier when you're reading it on, like, social media. You would think, right?
Well, I mean, it's that listening to respond versus listening to understand.
Yeah.
And too many people listen to respond and read to respond. So what they're doing is, instead of reading and understanding the words, they're reading and think, how do I counteract these words? And that's where you end up with the most problems is people not first trying to understand the other person's argument before then actually trying to respond to the argument.
Yeah, because it was that guy Andy Cortez that he quote tweeted something from Asmongold, and Asmongold, he said he played Ghost of Yote and just judged it off the merits of the game itself. And then that guy took, I guess, him saying, "Do I have to play as a girl?" as something where, even though he was joking, he said, because he said, "You said, do I have to play as a girl during Yote's reveal, whether you were joking or not?" So that already right there puts a complete nail in the coffin right there for his argument, because intent matters. If I'm joking and then you yourself don't take it as a joke, that's a you problem.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That's a complete you problem. And if I state I'm joking and I'm laughing, probably joking. It's probably 9 times out of 10. I'm probably joking. But it's like the thing you said earlier, where people just kind of want to make themselves out to be a victim out of something that isn't even a thing,
Yep.
And he said, whether you're joking or not, lots of dumbass misogynistic dudes in your fan base use that to harass the devs. You're not part of the problem. You are a key contributor to the culture war. And then he replied to you in one of yours, because you had said, a man preferring to play male characters is not misogynist any more than a woman preferring to play a male character is misandrous. Gamers are allowed to have preferences and even express those preferences. Hell, humans in general are allowed to have preferences in regards to absolutely everything under the sun. Preferring something does not mean you hate the things you don't prefer. Yeah. The fact that people like you choose to turn into some kind of war is a far bigger problem than the fact some men prefer not to play women. Fuck off. You have to just add the fuck off part. Oh, God.
To be fair, I mean, that's how I felt. So
you just had to add all after all the paragraphs, just those last two words, just fuck off. Oh, God. And that's the problem, is people like that get almost like sponsored by these video game companies, but
Hmm.
they want like that access, and they feel like, and it makes them feel good defending the devs because they do that virtue signaling bullshit that you said earlier that they do,
Hmm.
where everything I do is righteous and justice and moral, but when you have a problem with it, it's just disgusting, it's misogynistic, it's bad, it's horrible. It's like that is just an adult. That is crazy line of thinking you have there. That everything you do is the best thing ever, but everything that someone else does is the worst thing ever. How in the world could you even function in life like that? That's
Yeah.
actually insane. You know? Oh God. Oh Lord. But then again, you have a podcast that you do, I think, once a month. Because I know we're only going to be like here in like another 10 minutes, right? Or
Hmm.
7 minutes, right? So I want to ask you this because I haven't got a chance to ask you this yet. So you are not on that show called The Midweek Hump anymore. They used to do with No
No.
Green Rocks and Common Nerd and Shagsworth. It was that
Yep.
show. Yeah.
And sheep. Yeah. Yeah. We
Yeah.
don't do that anymore. I don't know if they started something else now or not, but they had for a little bit, but
Why did
I think it's
you
gone now.
leave the show? I know there's no bad blood, but you just want to just try something different. That was why.
Well, I was working on the video channel at the point in time, and it started going really, really well. And I didn't have the time to do both. I was getting burnt out, to be entirely honest.
Okay.
And so I had to pick one or the other, and I went with working on the video channel because I was. It's where I felt like I needed to focus my attention.
Mhm.
Um, and plus, it's not like they really needed me there. So uh, I think it worked out, or well, that's not what I'm saying. But it was just that kind of choice. I only have so much time and I need to make better use of what I have, is what it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah. I think as you get older, you realize you need to kind of put focusing your time differently. Like, okay, if I'm wasting too much time doing this, then I probably should pull it back or maybe expend more time on something else. So,
Hmm.
what did you end up doing after that? Your video channel? Because I know you had two channels, right? Because the
Well,
one
I
you do
still
videos on didn't
technically
good.
have two channels. I'm not doing videos right now because the news videos, once again, I like video game news, but it gets so negative sometimes that I can actually feel it draining my soul.
Well,
So
you're a squid.
I know, and you'd
Squids don't
think
have
with all
souls.
these souls I've sucked out of people that I wouldn't have that issue, but
No,
I
no,
do in
no.
fact have that issue.
That's my wife.
So,
She sucked a lot of souls.
yeah. uh, so I'm at this point in time, as far as the video channel goes, trying to decide exactly what I'm going to do with it. I am on a podcast every week. Excuse me,
Mhm.
it's the Offensive Charm podcast with me and my friend Jazz, and then every other week we do a guest, and that's kind of my video game news for the week
Yeah, it's like your
because we
little
go
outlet
through.
where you can cover it all. Yeah.
Yeah, we go through that every week, and we spend a lot of time laughing and talking about dumb shit. So it's not quite the same as sitting down and talking about the video stuff all at once. And then I do live streams 3 times a week, just playing video games on my own channel. And eventually I'm going to start up something else. I haven't quite figured out what yet,
Knitting.
but
That's what every woman your age gets to be doing at some point. You start knitting.
oh no, I've crocheted most all my life. It's too late for me to pick up knitting. And I already know how to do all the crafts. I did that when I was young.
Oh God, yeah. 'Cause I had seen that you were doing the podcast, Offensive Charm podcast, and that's good.
Mhm.
You got back into essentially the podcast game, but at that moment in time when you left the midweek hump, it was just because you were doing something else, and it just became a
Yeah,
little too much. Yeah, that
yeah.
happens a lot. And I know Sheep he streams now too because before he didn't really stream
Mhm.
as much because he was working
Yeah.
on his manga. Did his manga ever get done or come out?
He's still working on it. I know he
Okay.
has the first, like the pre chapter done, but he's still working on the other chapters. Some things have happened, and he's had to rework some storylines and stuff. So he's
Oh,
trying
okay.
to get that worked out before because you got to remember he's writing it and drawing it. So
Oh
it
God, yeah.
it's going to take him a little extra time because he's got to do both.
Yeah, save some money. That's how it
Yeah.
works. Because you had Flawedzilla on actually.
Yep.
Is there any chance you could put us in contact and so I could get him on the show? I would love to talk to that guy. Sounds
I
pretty
mean, the
cool.
easiest thing to do is just hit him on Twitter.
I think I did before. I don't think he responded back. I said,
You have to.
hey,
You might have to talk to him again because when I messaged him to be on the show. That's what I had to do too. Is I had to, hit him back again to make sure he saw it.
okay, 'cause I think I know I sent a message once. So I don't think I followed up that well.
Yeah. Now, in this space, especially if you are trying to talk to someone who's a bigger creator who is friendly, then you need to talk to them more than once because a lot of times,
It
they've got a
comes off
bunch of
like
people talking to them.
yeah, and also I've met these people like you have too, and
Hmm.
to them I understand their position because being that position before myself,
Yeah.
it kind of looks like a lot of people coming off like cloud chasing. It just is to that person, you
Yeah.
know. And it's weird because I know they don't really say that, but I know that's how they feel. Like, because when you have a bunch of people asking you all that stuff,
Hmm.
even Gary, he said he would come on the show. I know Gary did say he would come on the show, but honestly, I was nervous in messaging him. He said he
Yeah.
emailed him. I was too nervous.
And that's the hard thing. And honestly, Gary is such a sweetheart. The hardest part of him is getting him to see the message and then getting him scheduled. That's the most difficult part. And all you got to do is you just got to keep talking until,
I gotta talk to a
someone
white
picks it
man.
up.
Oh, crazy! I'll just talk to his wife. Me and her are friends on Facebook.
Well,
I'll
there you
try to
go.
get it.
Talk to her. And
Yeah,
she's actually better. I'll be entirely honest. So,
yeah. Melissa is awesome. Met Melissa.
mhm,
I like talking to her. She did black girls' hair when she was younger because she was a hairstylist.
yeah.
So she is essentially black. She's
Yep.
one of us.
She knows what she's doing.
Good lord, man. Oh god. No, because me and Gary have talked. I enjoy talking to Gary. He's a cool guy. Eventually, when I have him on, because I remember the first time I talked to him, I was like, hey, I was just joking. I was like, how do I become more like you? He was like, don't do drugs and
Hmm.
don't go to jail. I was like, I'm black. It's like, fuck. God damn it.
Hmm.
See, we already had going and doing drugs and going to jail already in common. All right.
Yep.
Last thing I'll say, well, last three things I'll say to you before we go. Any games you played recently that you would recommend to people?
I just finished Hell is Us, like literally earlier today. I just finished Hell is Us, and I absolutely recommend the game. It ends a bit abruptly for me, but everything else up to that moment was absolutely perfect. And the only thing I'm hoping that enough people will buy it that I can get a sequel. So
Hell
go
yeah.
out there, buy Hell is Us so that I can have a sequel. I don't even care if you play it, just buy the goddamn game.
What would you give it as a rating?
7 out of 10.
Any flaws you would
7.5.
say, like in
The
gameplay, story
biggest
wise?
flaws is story wise. There are no flaws. Story wise, other than the fact it ends so abruptly, story wise, there are no flaws. The biggest flaw I would say is that when you look at the information around the game, it looks like a Souls-like. It is a Souls-like light in that you do have a dodging and like health recovery mechanic through your combat. But when you die, you don't have to go back and fight all the same bad guys that you just killed. Everything stays dead after you kill it unless you leave the area and come back. So that is a little easier for someone like me who doesn't do too well in Souls games. But for someone who really wanted that kind of Souls-like experience, they'll be disappointed. There are also no real boss battles.
Mm-hmm.
So the combat might seem, it's a fun system, but it might seem a little simplistic. But the lore, the story, the puzzles, because it's very much a puzzle game too, are very much worth it.
Hell yeah. And the second thing I'll ask you is, do you have anything planned coming up for the rest of 2025, going into 2026 that you would like to let the audience know about?
Not particularly.
Okay. So you're still going to be married,
Yep.
white.
Yep.
You're still going to be with the black man.
Yep.
So you guys are going to have watch parties on 12 Years a Slave?
I will have to talk to the black man about that.
Got to watch some good old
You
Mary
might
Jane
watch some Roots.
Roots, good lord. Good lord. Watch Django and only play the parts where he's at the house with Leonardo DiCaprio. Good lord. Damn. Oh, God. You know what I said to people in Discord? Let's do a I Spit on Your Grave watch party.
It's a good game. Or
Good
not game.
lord.
Good movie.
You talking about the original or the 2010 remake? I've seen both. Oh yeah, the original is good lord, goddamn. Those movies are something else. It's either we do a
Wrong Turn are good ones.
I like the first two. The rest of them start getting really just crazy, but the first two are very, very entertaining. Like the first one is, what What a
Yeah.
movie. They don't make them like they used to, as I
Nope.
always say. So last thing I'll ask you is, do you have any shout outs you want to give to anyone in particular, and anything else you want to say before we head out?
If you are interested in novels, I have two that you have to go and read. The first one is Theft of Fire by Devin Erickson. It actually has an audiobook that the man just released. When I say audiobook, I'm not just talking about a guy sitting there reading the book. I'm talking a fully voice casted sound effects production. We're talking radio show type production of the book. So if you're into audiobooks, get that. If you're into novels, get that. If you are also into audiobooks and novels, After Moses by Michael Caine is a fantastic, they're both sci-fi, is another fantastic novel. His has 6 books. His final book in the series is coming out this month. If you're a really fast reader, you can sit down and read the other 5 before it comes out, maybe. I wish you luck in that, but I do recommend that you read them. And he just finished his audiobook Kickstarter, and he will be releasing that on his website. So you will buy it directly from him, DRM free. And I recommend, if you're an audiobook person, getting that as well. Excuse me.
You're good. Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's what I recommend.
Me, black, and reading. I don't know about that.
That's why I said the audiobooks.
Yes. Something I can't afford. I can't use EBT on audiobooks. God damn it. I'm gonna have to rob a bank or something. So it was great talking to you again. Can't wait to see you next year.
Probably.
Gonna be at the meetup next year. I'll be there. How long a duration? I don't know. Who knows, honestly.
We always try to be. Unless something happens, we'll be there.
Yeah, unless I get pregnant, then
yeah. If you get pregnant, that would definitely stop you.
So just want to let you guys know, we are currently alive and living, and that's the best thing you can do. So thank you guys for checking out this episode